and welcome to another episode of Mom and Dad and Dial It In. Today we're going to be calling my grandma, who is a health inspector, so let's call her now. Hi, Grandma. Uh-oh. Hold on. It glitched again.
Oh, okay.
This happens every time I call somebody. Okay, we fixed the problem. I forgot I had dimmed down the Bluetooth audio. Okay, so the first question is, what's your job and why is it important?
Ooh, that's a good question, and it's a kind of a broad answer. My job is considered to be health inspector, and what that means is that we go into restaurants and we permit them, and part of the permit process is we also inspect them. The inspection involves taking a look at their procedures, their health practices, their personal hygiene practices, the temperature control and safety. It's kind of a five-prong. Let's see: temperature control, food protection, cleanliness, sanitation. I'm trying to get it summarized here for you. Basically, we look at the whole operation. We look at the food from the time it comes in the back door in a delivery to the time it lands in your tummy. And we want to keep it safe and protected.
Yeah.
And that's what a food health inspector does.
Okay. What actually makes food unsafe to eat?
Okay, that's a good question too. There are several things that can make a food unsafe to eat. There can be a physical contamination of dropping dirt into the food, contaminate. Yeah. There can be chemical contamination. Say you spill a bottle of cleaner over some food and some splashes into it. There can be cross-contamination, drippage from, say you've got raw meat sitting over ready-to-eat food, and it drips into the ready-to-eat food and contaminates it. So it can be physical or biological or chemical.
Oh, yeah. I'm a food handler, as you know, so... Ugh. Okay. What food gets people sick the most?
That's a good question. If I had prepared a little more, if I'd known some of the questions ahead of time, I might have dug out some very, classier answers.
Yeah.
The five most, let's see if I can remember all of them. The most hazardous bacteria for your health are norovirus, which is very easily to communicate through mishandling of food. It's fecal oral contamination. Salmonella through chicken.
Yeah.
Shigella, which is also fecal oral. Poor handling practices. E. coli, which is through beef. Like chicken, salmonella comes primarily from chicken, although not always. It can even be mishandling of vegetables and cut vegetables and things.
Can it come from salmon?
No, it's salmonella, not salmonella.
Oh, okay.
Good question. Good clarification there. Yeah, salmonella. Salmonella has several different varieties, strains, and we have found it on cut cucumbers that were mishandled. It can be the dirt in the earth. E. coli and salmonella can be found in dirt. And so let's say the people doing the produce harvesting are careless with bathroom habits.
Ooh, yeah.
Or things being on the ground or not washing the cucumbers well. And then they can carry bacteria. When the knife goes through that vegetable when it's being cut, if you, the consumer, have not washed it well before you eat it, then that bacteria can be brought from the outside of the skin to the inside of the meat of the cucumber and infect you.
Yeah.
You can also get salmonella from chicken is the primary, what most people think of. E. coli people think of from the beef, although it's also in the soil and can contaminate fruits and vegetables as well. Um, and that can make you very sick. So E. coli, Salmonella, Shigella. Uh, there's a couple of different strains of Salmonella, a couple of different strains of. There's toxin-producing Shigella. So there's 5 or 6 at the top of the list that will make you very, very sick. And if anyone has those 5 or 6 illnesses, they are not allowed to work in a restaurant until they have been declared well by a doctor.
Yeah.
So we take those very seriously.
Is the 5-second rule ever true?
It actually is. We've chuckled over that. My supervisor, the boss of the department before our current boss, actually sent us a research paper that he had discovered on 5-second rule. Technically, it's true, with some limitations.
Yeah.
You know, the drier the food, the less it holds and can multiply the food. There's something called there's a chart that compares pH of a food to the water activity of food, which means how moist is it, how much water does it have in it. The drier and more acidic a food is, the less chance it has of even growing bacteria. And whether or not you get sick also depends on how many bacteria you ingest of the same variety. Say you know, something may have a small amount of bacteria on it, you ingest it, your immune system kicks in, you're young, you're healthy, you're fine.
Yeah.
You kick it, may have a little bit of a tummy ache, and it may pass pretty quickly. Someone my age, whose immune system is a little bit lower just because they're, or someone who has cancer, or someone who's very young, they're at higher risk because their immune system is compromised. So a little bit of bacteria can be much more harmful to a sick or young or old person than to a typically healthy person with a good immune system who's young.
Yeah. And by young, in the healthy immune system case, you mean like 12 to like 45-ish?
60, maybe 55, 60.
Yeah.
It depends on the kind of health you're in.
Yeah.
Your great-grandma actually had a pretty good immune system, and she was 90, and her immune system was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think I ever remember her getting sick.
Very seldom did Grandma Young get sick. She had a very good constitution.
Yeah. How long can food sit out before it's not safe?
Oh, good question. You've got some good ones there. The rule for food being out and proper temperature is below 41 degrees or for cold hold, and above 135 degrees for keeping things hot enough. Anything between 41 and 135 is considered the danger zone, where bacteria proliferate very quickly. So if food is in that danger zone, you have 4 hours before it has to be discarded. So if it's still sitting, if it's still too warm after 4 hours, you can't just stick it in the refrigerator and go, it'll be fine, I'll stick it in the fridge now. It needs to kind of go out. Depending on the food, some foods that don't grow bacteria.
Yeah, like pantry items would be fine to stay out for.
Back to the dry stuff,
like decades, really. They just go stale for the most part. I'm thinking like crackers.
Even flour can carry E. coli.
Yeah.
That's the reason you're not supposed to eat raw dough.
I've broken that twice today.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Of course, it was corn flour. So.
Yeah.
Slightly different.
And did it have eggs in it, you know?
Yeah. It didn't.
Yeah, if it didn't have eggs in it, the you know, there's all sorts of factors. You have to look at all the different sides of a situation.
Yeah.
So what we recommend is that if it's been out for 2 hours, get it cold real fast again, or get it hot real fast again.
Yeah.
Once you go between 2 to 4 hours, at 4 hours it goes in the garbage.
What's the biggest food safety mistake that families make at home?
Oh, that's a really good one. I have to be careful how I answer this so that I don't point any fingers, because all my kids do a pretty good job of washing hands and being careful. I see people being a little careless with raw eggs and their fingers. Like they crack open raw eggs. I've seen people wipe their hands on towels and think that's fine. Soap and water is your best friend when it comes to not getting people ill. Um, Possibly moving from handling raw things, and I don't see this in our family. Our family uses stem thermometers and we wash our hands. So
Yeah.
I think that the background of being related to a health inspector's had an effect on the family. But the
Yeah.
careless things that we see out are when people are careless with hand washing or with raw meats, raw eggs, um, not using soap and water to clean counters after they've had raw meats on it. Um, let's see, mistakes that people make in their own kitchen.
One
Not
I think
receiving
is like
temperatures.
one I think would be like cross contamination. So like
Exactly.
especially in our family with so many gluten-free people and then a bunch of not gluten-free people, it's like we especially have to be careful with making sure we wash our hands after handling gluten.
Mm-hmm. And that's protection from, that's not the bacteria side, but that's the food safety side for protecting at-risk people. And that's another whole issue in restaurants is had so much exposure in the family to gluten-free, one family member who's celiac. We try not to use names here.
Yeah.
Um, Different allergen responses has made me very careful in restaurants to say, okay, if you are claiming to be a have gluten-free foods or gluten-free recipes, how do you protect a person? Is it cooked in the same fryer as you fry gluten food? Is it, uh, what are your procedures for protecting people from the hazards of gluten if you're making these claims to be gluten-free? And a lot of restaurants do a really good job. A lot of them will have a separate skillet instead of cooking it on a grill. They'll cook it in a skillet so that it doesn't touch the grill and come in contact with other foods. Some restaurants have fryers dedicated to gluten-free foods and have the other fryers for the gluten foods.
Yeah, that's why we like Hat Creek. They make sure to fry their fries in a separate fryer.
Yes. And even like with shrimp, like you have a relative with a shrimp, and they'll cook their shrimp in a separate skillet, separate to on the grill with other things. So it does make me ask a lot of questions when I do inspections of gluten-free places.
Yeah. How can kids tell if food is unsafe?
You can't usually tell it by looking at it. You really can't. There are obvious things like smushed up food that should look firm and in good condition. Things that look moldy. If there's a bad odor to a food, but in general, the germs and the bacteria don't show. So you just have to develop good food handling practices, even in your home.
Yeah.
I get a lot of phone calls of people who are complaining because they got sick in a certain restaurant because when they lost the contents of their tummy, what they saw is what they think they got sick on. And they're just sure they didn't have anything to do with getting sick themselves. Yet, if you look back at some of the meals, if I dared ask certain questions, and if they told the truth, you might find that they weren't handling some of their own foods very carefully.
Yeah. And like you've said the other day, when my friend got sick after having In-N-Out within like 24 hours or something, or it was like very recent, and then they got sick pretty quickly, like hour or two. You said like it takes 24 hours ish for
it can start at 4 to 6 hours up to 24 up to 7 days.
Yeah.
And I expect that particular restaurant, you could almost eat off their floor and be safe. They have incredible good food safety practices.
Shout out to like In-N-Out and Hat Creek. They're some of the best restaurants for
Yeah,
food
now
safety.
personally, I have to be careful about saying things about specific restaurants because it can be a conflict of interest for me. So I have to be careful about mentioning restaurants.
Yeah.
You just happen to mention one that I can go, oh yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah. What's one food safety rule that every kid should remember?
Wash your hands with soap and water. 20 seconds soaping, then rinse, and then dry with a clean towel.
Uh, what food?
Hand washing is your best protection against all illness.
Yeah. What food do people worry too much about?
Ooh, that's a good one. Let me think. Well, it's one interesting thing is if, like, say at a picnic and somebody gets sick after a picnic, they always want to blame the potato salad because they think it's the mayonnaise that made them sick, but it's actually probably the potatoes.
Oh, I was gonna think egg.
Yeah, well, egg and potato salad would be cooked egg.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah,
sometimes you don't always cook it fully.
Yeah, any food left out of temperature. But we chuckle because the mayonnaise is probably so processed that it could make you sick eventually, and you have to be careful with mayonnaise. But the potatoes left out of temperature can grow spores, and I forget if it's spores or toxins. I think it's spores, and you can't kill those with heat, and they just multiply like crazy when you get hot at a picnic. Food that people worry about that they shouldn't. I'd have to think about that.
Too much.
That's an interesting question. I don't usually find people worrying about food enough. Oh, and things like chili cook-offs and things where buffets, things where people are making a lot of food at home and bringing it to share in a group.
Ooh,
you need to be careful when you eat in those sorts of situations. Everybody in the health department rolls their eyes and groans when the word chili cook-off is mentioned because those can be very hazardous. And here's some of the problem. You have somebody making food at home. They don't understand how to cool food properly. So if it stays in the danger zone too long and doesn't cool quickly, it can grow bacteria fast. And then you bring it and you feed a whole bunch of people with it, and it's been temperature abused, and it can have a lot of bacteria in it. So be careful about buffets. Potlucks, you have to be a little bit careful. You want to eat something that's kind of fresh. I guess I'm answering a whole different question that didn't get asked.
That's fine.
I tell people with immune systems, like if you have cancer or you have immune compromised health, I tell people stay away from buffets and stay away from fresh salads and things at restaurants, because if people don't wash their hands well, or if they're cross-contaminating, foods that haven't been recently heated up can be more dangerous than a freshly cooked burger or a freshly cooked, hot food.
Yeah.
So if you have an immune problem, I say eat hot.
Yeah, makes sense. Do you inspect your own kitchen at home?
Well, actually, yes, I do. I go through my refrigerator regularly to check for out-of-date things, things that have expired, things that have been in there for more than a week. You've got from the day something is initially cooked, you've got 7 days before you need to discard it. So, and if it comes from a restaurant, I wouldn't give it, let's say you bring leftovers home, I wouldn't give it more than 2 days because they may have had that food in their walk-in for up to 5 to 7 days. So don't give yourself more than 2 days on stuff you bring home from a restaurant.
What about Domino's? Do they actually make their food fresh?
Next time, say pizza places. We're trying to avoid name brands.
Okay, yeah. I don't think YouTube will. I don't think YouTube will give me any strikes for this.
Well, no, I'm thinking about my reputation as a health inspector.
Oh, yeah.
I have to protect the restaurants that I inspect. But pizza places in general, it's all fresh.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. It's more appealing in my opinion when you see them rolling out the dough and stuff.
Yeah, and leftover pizza from a pizza place, nobody wants it to taste like it tastes like reheated.
Yeah.
That fresh, hot taste is what you're looking for.
Yeah. Especially like gluten-free pizzas. I've tried one reheated. It was cauliflower. It tasted like cardboard, wet cardboard.
Yeah, gluten-free pizza does not reheat as well as the other does.
Yeah.
And it doesn't taste good cold.
Yeah, I think that may be all. Let me double check. Annoying keyboard. I'm using the Notepad app, and suddenly I just see the keyboard open. Done button. There we go. What happens if a lunchbox gets warm, like with perishables?
You know, you've got, for carrying your lunch to school, that's generally about that 4-hour time period.
Mm-hmm.
You're fine.
Yeah.
That's we talk about going into the danger zone. It doesn't go into the danger zone right away. It's got a little bit of time from the time it comes out of the fridge to the time it goes in your lunchbox. It's still cold. When you leave the house, it starts warming up. Most kids eat lunch within 4 hours of the time they leave their house.
Yeah.
You can also pack with ice packs. That keeps food colder.
Yeah, that's what I do whenever I pack yogurt.
Yeah. And if it's a cold food that came out of your refrigerator cold, hasn't been heated up, you've actually got 6 hours as long as it stays below 70. So if you pack it with some ice packs, that keeps it down in that below 70 range real easily.
Yeah, what about like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
You can leave it there as long as you can stand how dry it gets.
For some reason,
it does not spoil.
Mom puts like purple paper towels in mine, in the baggies, and then the paper towels get all moist and the sandwich gets squishy. So, I prefer leftovers for school lunch or stuff like that. How long could like yogurt stay out? I actually don't remember this from my test.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yogurt is a temperature control for safety food, so it can stay out 4 hours, up to 6 if it stays below 70.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Thanks.
Very good.
OpenAI for generating these questions. You know what I'm talking about if you've ever used the most popular AI.
Yeah. Those are actually very good questions. They did a good job.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised it did that well. So.
They're very, very thoughtful questions, and they all applied properly to what I do.
Yeah. Thanks, Grandma. Okay, thanks for talking.